Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We got our coins working inside our breakable crates yesterday, so we can break crates as well as have an inventory of coins. We've got 0, we can pick some up. Well, yeah, we put in the wrong info here for the coins. Where did we do this? Coin count. Yes, we were making sure we can't go over 999 coins, so we'll just increment our coin count by 1 and we should get the right values here. So today's going to be a short day because I got work in the morning and I got started late streaming today, but there we go, correct coin count. And the goal of today is, well, twofold. We need to fix our loot state, which is currently looking like this. If we fix that, then we also need to just deploy the new breakable crates and everything to the mobile deployment so that it's live on there. Yeah. So I think I did some digging and I found the issue with the loot, which was we used to be breaking out of this animation update if we're not looping and our times played's greater than 0. What we can do is, yeah, because we don't want to update the animation if we're not looping and the times played is greater than 0. I think all we have to do is take that out, and I think that'll work. So it looks like that works. Oh, see, look, our guy isn't updating anymore for a looping. Yeah, because oh yeah, see, he's not stepping anymore. Well, why do we? Okay, so the idea is we break. See, okay, and what I don't get is in our entity defs here, we do define things like walk down and whatnot as looping. So we should never break here because this is only if we're not looping. Oh, but it's self-looping. Oh yeah, see, self-looping we pull from the animation definition, not necessarily the entity definition. So do we pass in the def? Yeah, where do we initiate or initialize our animation class? And we'll see if we give it. Yeah, well, we give it an entity defs dot animations, and the dot animations is this table. Okay, so I think the dot animations itself doesn't have a looping value, but the key in the animation does have a looping thing. So I think that might be where it's wrong, because yeah, because this isn't quite right, because we pass in the def, which is in animation. Well, let's see. Yeah, so what is a dot animations in our entity def? It is a couple values. It's this stuff, yeah, the frames, interval, texture, and looping. So yeah, that should work, pulling the looping from the dot def looping. Huh. 'Cause yeah, we pass in, yeah, the key. Yeah, we pass in the value in the dot animations table, which does have frames, interval, texture, and looping. Frames, interval, texture, and looping. Yeah, we should be pulling that looping. So I don't get why we're breaking on anything that is looping? Maybe we can say... Because if we take this out altogether, then we never break... Yeah, then we would always update our loop. So like if we don't do this, then whether or not it's looping, it'll just keep looping, which something like a break crate, well, and a break crate is unique because the crate literally we literally remove the crate once it's done animating. So I mean, this technically isn't broken. Oh my god, well that's broken. It's technically not broken feature-wise, it's just that our dot looping doesn't have anything to do. Our looping false doesn't actually do anything. So yeah, if we just do times played greater than 1 and not looping. So why is that wrong? Why is that self-looping? Did we spell something wrong? No. Everything else pulls fine. We know the frames and interval and texture pulls fine because that's how we're cycling through the animation. It's just the looping. Okay, if we're not looping, let's break. Let's just try that. Yeah, we're just not looping. We're not looping on animation. Let's see, if we break, if we are looping, does that jack up also? Okay, that doesn't break. So if we are looping... Dude, okay. I don't get why that works. Because if looping is true, which on a lot of the stuff, all the walking looping is true. Yet looking for entity defs here. Yeah, on all the walking, looping is true. So that means, well, if we're walking, we're going to return instead of update. Right? Because if we return, does that go out into the body here? Does that return out of this body loop? Or this body, this conditional body? Or does it break the loop or the thing completely? Because maybe it's does break, well, no loop to break. So return. So what does return nothing do? Does return nothing just come out here? I mean, it must, because it's still updating the thing. So maybe what we do is we only do this stuff if we're not looping. And we've already played more than once. No, we want to do this if we are looping. If we are looping and we've played less than once. Gosh, no. What is it? All this stuff needs to update if we are looping. but also we want to not do this stuff because we still want to animate something that isn't looping. So times played is less than 1. No, that's not right. Self times played does not equal 0. No. What is it? Okay, because if we're looping, we want to increment our frames for sure. We want to do that. But we also want to do that if we're not looping. And we want to do that if we're not looping and we've only played the animation less than one time. But that would mean if we're looping and we played more than once, it wouldn't update, which is incorrect. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we will update right now any given animation with the interval regardless, which means breaking the crate would technically loop, but we're literally removing it as an object. So even though it's technically looping, it would be technically looping. There's nothing to loop anymore, so that's why it looks unbroken there. But then our self-looping doesn't do anything from our entity definitions. So it's almost like we need to just have 2 blocks. And if we're looping, then we definitely update all this stuff. But if we're not looping, and we haven't played more than once, meaning we're on our first and only animation, then we want to still increment that animation. Now, I guess there's no way to test this without undeleting our crates and see if they loop when we turn that off. That's the only thing I could think of. Oh, but look, we're not animating here. Yeah, we're only playing once here, so that's not working. But if we're looping, yeah, do the thing. I don't know why this is not working. Because, yeah, this technically isn't broken. It's just that the looping parameter does nothing here. I don't know what to do. Do we just leave it broken? I mean, I'm trying to think of a scenario where we need the looping value to not be looping, right? Like, play once. Like, what kind of animation would play only once? Something like a crate breaking or something. I don't know. Let me Google what the plain return does for Lua. I don't know what a return nothing does. Does it just exit this body of code? I mean, doing an empty thing would do the same thing, would it not? An empty body would just do the same thing where it would just skip over it? Because this has to be not doing what I thought it did. What I thought it did was broke out of this whole update function because we return. So I thought return doesn't just do this internal return value, but like literally for the function, we're returning nothing, which is just stopping the update. That's what I thought it was doing. But the values are wrong because it doesn't correspond with the looping values we're putting in here. If we're not looping, meaning we're at something like a crate, and we've played more than once, then let's return. Now, this shouldn't break our walking, but it does. So why would break... See, that's what I really don't get, is like... If the only thing that's stopping us from walking there is this return, then that means the return is functioning like I thought, which is exiting the update loop. But what isn't right is that we keep the return, but the walking animation is not updating, and that means that looping must be false because we're hitting this return, because we're asking if not looping. But in walking, looping is always set to true in our entity defs, so that's what I just don't get. Looping is true in all our walk stuff, even in our idle, which is only 1 frame, so that doesn't really matter, but looping is true in our push and our walking, which they see it doesn't loop, even though we've got looping true. And we're only doing a return if we're looping false. So we gotta be changing looping somewhere, I feel like. But we are not. I don't want to change this. Yo, I mean, we know we're pulling the interval in frames. We know we're doing that. So this def should be pulling it. If we're looping, look at this. If we're looping, let's return. So that means if anything is a walk or a push, we shouldn't update because we have looping true. But it's updating. So it's not hitting this return, right? Because we can have what we can do is say, just to see if we're hitting this. Oh, shoot. There's so many animations, though, we can't just increment a variable. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, let's say that this is just looping is false. We're not looping, and if we're looping, we're gonna break and not even update our animation. Is this wrong? It should not loop anything, but it does. What the? If we're looping, which... Oh. Yeah, so look. We're saying looping is true. Then we're saying if we're looping, which we are, break and don't update. So now we should not update when we walk against something, which we don't. Or push against something, which we don't. So that looks right. So if we're saying, okay, well, if we want to break out of the update if we're not looping and the times played is greater than 0, 1 or higher, then that means we break out of the animation because we are not looping. So now we'll initialize this to false, and we'll see if this gives us desired effect, which is we're still breaking. We're still breaking, which means, if we're breaking, then we're hitting, not self-looping. So let's say, I'm just thinking about this wrong, right? Because, if we're walking, we need to be looping. And we only break if we're not looping. So this should update our walk, which it does. So now the issue is, if we don't disintegrate this crate, that's an example of something that only plays once, and that's it. So, but we'd have to be able to define looping differently for the crate, assuming that our def looping is incorrect, which let's test it. It should work when we walk against stuff. See? This is wrong. Because we had... if we pass in the manual value there, looping true for walking, right? For walking or pushing, it works fine as expected. Because we define it as looping true for all our walking and pushing. Here in our entity defs, we say looping true. Looping true. Yet, when we pull the dot looping, we've got to be pulling this from somewhere else. Is there... When we run our create animations, or does it pull our looping? Create animations. Oh my god, we're not pulling our looping here. Oh, son of a gun. We gotta pull our looping in the create animations. Okay. So now we're pulling our looping. This will be def.looping. And then if we're not looping and we've played once, we've played through, don't update. Otherwise, go ahead and update. So let's try that. That should work. Flip, man. Flip it. Why? That was it. That was it. Did we not save? So we cycle through the animations that we pass, and we pass in when we create animations. When we create animations, we give it the dot animations that we're talking about here. Because we give it, yes, the dot animations from our entity defs. Now, when we create animations for stuff, for anything, like create animations for our player, where is our player? Oh my god, we have two. We have an entity create animations. What's really weird, okay, so this is where it is, because our player is an entity and we didn't do it in our entity here. So we need to pull our looping also from our animations definitions. Okay. If this doesn't work, I'm going to lose it. Okay, we update. Okay. So now, okay, that's been an issue for a long time. That's been an issue for a long time. Okay. Yes, we're pulling it from the definitions. Okay. This should be it. I guess we can test this now. If we do this with a, what is it? Crate collides? Where is it where we remove our crate? Yeah, it'd have to be in our break crate. Near our break crate function. Or in it. Broken crate. Where do we remove the crate? Wherever we run break crate. Okay. Table.remove. Okay, so... yes. Okay. Okay. So... what I'm going to do is not remove the crate because our crate, if we look at our entity defs, we'll see that our crate, our break crate, is not looping. So now that we're pulling in the correct value for the looping, since we're not looping, and we will have played once by the time the thing is over, we're looking for the correct crate placement, which is play once and not loop, which it doesn't, but the crate should still be here. Yes, it is, because we can still push. So the crate is still there, so that means our animation is working. That means we can turn off or turn back on this remove crate because it is in fact working. So we can remove this. We fixed... yeah, dude, that bug's been elusive for a while. So I'm glad we found it. Okay, so now our self.looping actually performs like we mean it to. So if we define looping false, it'll only play once and then stop. If we define looping true, it'll loop. Sweet. So that's two big things. Okay. Now... does that fix our loot problem? It does. Okay. One thing I do want to fix, I don't know if we'll do it today. If we pull up our loot, what I don't like is once we play loot, see how the fretboard gets populated already? Well, one, we have too many frets, too many fret notes that we don't have actual values for. We only have the 1 and 2 here. So we should probably remove any notes that aren't 1 and 2 because there's no way of winning. But the other thing is, like, I don't like this to be populated once we go into the loot state. The loot active, I don't like that populated. I don't know if I want to fix that right now. I'm getting really tired. I got work in the morning. Well, we fixed the loot problem and the animation problem, so that was an elusive bug. I was wanting to do the mobile deployment, but I just don't think I have the energy and I need to get to sleep. So we're going to say that we fixed this. Before we commit, let's just do some checking here. We just changed our animation definition update function to only break if we're not looping. We added, what did we, oh, we added just a comma. We added our looping to our definition. We fixed our coin increment. And we did it to not only a pushable create animations, but an entity create animations, because we have it split up, which I don't quite like, but I don't know what to do to fix it. So we'll say that this is fixed elusive looping bug for animations. Cool. And we'll get pushed that. So tomorrow we will do a couple of things. We'll fix the loot frets so that they're only legal frets on the nodes coming in. And then maybe add a reset button anytime we clear out the loot. We want to reset the music so that people can play it more than once with the notes going by and try to hit it right. And then we will get the frets to not be held as soon as we swap into the loot state. We need the buttons to be released because the O key is the B button on the Game Boy, and when you the B button is your item selector, which is your loot once it's equipped, and pressing B to equip your loot also means you're pressing B, which is holding fret 1 while you're in loot state, and I don't like that it shows up the instant you press loot. Even if you tap it, it still shows up. So I think we need to wait for a key release on the O key or the B button touch detection. We need to wait for a release on that before we can actually put up the fret signifier or whatever we call it. So that'll be tomorrow. We'll run our credits here so we can raid out, and then we'll get those couple loot things fixed, and then we'll get the mobile deployment. So we'll have breaking crates on the mobile deployment, and then we'll get started on adding bats and dungeon level design for the demo, the road to the demo. So it's coming up. We're doing good. We fixed an elusive bug today, which is always good. So thank you to our credited supporters for subbing and supporting the channel here on Twitch. And thanks all the YouTube subscribers as well. I really appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow and we'll get some more programming done. Thanks for watching. Here, I'll raid out here. But yeah, have a good night.